Hello everyone and welcome to my Mountain of Shame. Today I have the 2021 game Sunlight by Krillbyte Studio. And I have no idea what this game is. I just saw it look beautiful, so that's all I care about. Beauty. Which is fine, because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder and all that. So let's see what we've got here. A plant.
Welcome. Are you sitting comfortably? Are you focused and
Relatively.
not thinking about whatever's bothering you these days?
I mean, I was, but then I was like, I
I'm
can
not
play some
here to
games.
test you. Please relax. Let your thoughts come and go and listen as they fade away in the distance. For better or for worse, this is where your life has brought you. Looking at a screen, listening to me. Imagine, for a moment, that you've just had a child. It's healthy, but unfortunately also completely blind. For their whole life, they will live in the dark and not see a thing. Their perception of reality is something that you might never be able to comprehend.
Correct.
How would you describe the world to them? What can't be touched or heard, smelled or tasted? How would you describe sunlight? By what it does? Or how it feels on their skin? I think I'd play them this piece of music. First composed by Tchaikovsky in 1878, these rays of light have traveled through decade after decade, finally reaching your ears this very moment. You have also traveled far to get here today, but you're only passing through and should probably get going.
Okay. So it looks like I'm in an oil painting and
While you're here, I'd like to tell you a story.
okay.
It all happened to me when I was
Yeah.
young.
Walking in a forest much like you are. Those were days filled with boundaries and rules, of no running in the hallways.
Don't do this or that or the other. With my world full of fierce discipline, I walk the forest to breathe.
Is there a different story if I walk in
One
different?
day, deep in the woods, I found a funny-looking tree, crooked, old, and wrinkly.
With little work, a few bits of bark became huge ships. Calm creeks turned to ferocious oceans. I can still recall the people I imagined.
Dragged downstream with a sense of guilt. As I gazed back
Upon the old tree, I noticed something
peculiar. It was crying. Every crumple, like eyes closed tightly. Clear
Okay.
drops streaming silently
down its wrinkly skin. So I did, as children do, tasted it,
Not because it looked tasty, but
to figure out what it was. The first drop made my tongue tingle. The second made it prickle.
And the very moment the third landed on my tongue, a profound sensation
Spread through my chest.
Undefinable, like thirst, both vague and specific.
One thing was clear. Something was changing within me.
I remember breathing in
and out. Feeding the fire.
when I walk in different directions, it seems like different things are happening, but like there are chorus of the same voices that seem to change depending on where I'm actually looking and walking, at least slightly. I think I need to play this a couple of times to know what the heck's going on in that regards. But first of all, a flower? Can I pick it up? I can.
I woke to a slight prickle in my fingertips. I studied them closely, discovering circular ridges in a foreign landscape
Of my skin. The prickling soon slipped my attention. It would be another week until it returned. A wave of gentle needles moving over my skin. A limb falling asleep, perhaps?
Huh.
I did not start worrying
Until it returned the third time. First making its way up my neck,
before engulfing my skull completely from behind. I could even feel the tiny needles
covering my eyeballs. But it did not stop there. I held my breath.
as the small thorns crawled around my lips
before spreading into my lungs and stomach.
My awareness spread with it, and I remember the
sensation of my mushy dinner in there, as if I held its remains in the palm of my hand.
It's definitely not a traditional game, I'll give it that. I don't think it's trying to be a horror either. I suppose we just keep gathering flowers then. This one feels like a very small bud. I want this one, I think I'll go for the other one. I want more than just a little bud. If I'm getting these flowers, I want to get good flowers. Oh yeah, that looks like a much better flower.
Suddenly, my body took control and opened my mouth. An explosion of air
rushing into my lungs.
The tingling spread with it through an endless web of veins, soon reaching my beating heart. For a moment I stood in awe
of the activity within my body.
I felt my heart beating faster
and my skin sweating.
Your body is your only vessel in this world, and when it misbehaves, the claustrophobia is total.
Seek help.
I thought. And at that very moment, the tingling needles shot from my brain
Down through my spine.
I
felt them scatter through my upper leg,
where muscles contracted to lift my knee. My body weight shifted forward,
and a shock wave spread from the foot sole.
Okay.
softly on the
What
ground.
I find interesting as well is the way that the background
Repeated itself in great detail for
changes
every step.
I was overwhelmed,
as we walk.
but my body kept moving.
I did not at all feel like the boss.
Giving directions. It all happened automatically, and I
Was simply along for the ride.
And like things change a little bit. It's almost like it's just the voice you go towards in some ways is the one that gets stronger and stronger until it just changes to another completely random story. And then once each segment is over, it gets you another flower. But is there any method in these flowers either? Like one was a tiny bud. This one feels like it's gonna be just a regular flower again, so.
The doctor's office.
But like the way it goes from
Crossing the
the
floor.
way it goes from looking like
My parents, distant features of the land.
mountains to looking like
I
trees to
wanted to explain, but was unable.
My lips and tongue engaged in an intricate choreography, myself and the audience observing the words performed.
see, part of me wonders if it's just random, but not random, but pre-recorded as to which one it goes
I'm
towards.
sure it will pass.
So when I change my direction,
Crying for help.
it doesn't do much to change with which voice is talking. A very different flower than the last few flowers. I'll take it though, it doesn't look like a bud.
The conversation kept going, but I stopped paying attention. Instead, I was following the hands of a clock mounted on the doctor's wall.
They were both speeding up and slowing down.
It's also making my graphics card make a lot of noise.
A levitating camera in a video game merging with the code it was running on. Again, with the binary, with the electronic circuit and so on. I closed my eyes and let my sensations lead me.
First, I spent some time with my bones. Among their many functions, I got lost in their continuous breathing.
An uninterrupted flow of calcium absorbed.
Okay, this time I went towards something that looked interesting, which was this tree.
Skeleton was alive and
It actually did become what I thought it was going to.
Of itself.
I could feel my mind clinging to the known, to the cluttering thoughts, the buzzing of
memories and fears of the future. But for each breath, tension was released, and
my shoulders sunk comfortably. It had certainly felt like I was
in there, somewhere behind my face. But I was nowhere to be found.
And the more I looked, the more hazy I became.
Okay, we've got another unique looking flower over here.
When my eyelids
eventually opened, they felt as slow as a sunrise.
photons converted to no signals.
shooting along the optic nerve, each carrying a piece of information into the darkness.
The brain categorized motion, color, edges, distance. I sat for a moment in the dusk.
Watching the sunrise. When the
Well, this is definitely the most true to form walking simulator I've ever seen.
Lights up from the inside. My experience had to change.
This is exactly what's on the tin.
To the light.
It emits.
Not that I read it was walking simulator, but the second you go in, this is what you expect when you see walking experience simulator. It's kind of beautiful. I kind of miss the first voice. I think the first voice is the most interesting, you know? The old man. And I don't think I've heard him again. Oh, hello?
As the moments stretched, I started daydreaming. Or so I thought.
You know what this reminds me of?
Shimmering field creeping slowly in from the periphery.
The monologue in Frog Fractions. Where you're just walking really slowly, listening to someone talk about a made-up story.
But surely I saw trees
blowing past me, and among them, myself.
Sitting right there
in the doctor's office with a vacant expression.
while walking around myself.
I was surprised to still see the clock straight ahead. Myself
From the side, the clock on the wall. The two images were not overlapping, they just
existed. Like imagining a familiar place with your eyes closed. You see both nothing and something
at the same time.
I turned to look towards myself,
but saw only the face of the doctor, lingering
somewhere between confusion, concern, and annoyance. However,
when I studied his face closer,
I was struck by terror.
The image of myself had turned to look straight into my own eyes. I felt my own hand reach
out towards myself,
The weight of my hand
landing softly on my own shoulder.
eyes distant, looking at the doctor.
Now, in real life, this would actually be terrifying.
and boundaries disappearing.
Just walking through a forest, having no way out, and just listening to these people randomly rant on about all sorts of stuff that makes no sense. I don't see a GPS or any way out of here. I also don't see very much in the way of actual, like, choices.
The fire was spreading. A delicate wave of nostalgia washing over me. Intimate recollections of past sorrows, relationships.
Education, and even medical experience. And at last,
I was no longer alone.
Not in the sense that the doctor was there in the room, but rather that
we were together in the darkness of my mind.
A vast number of sensations were still flowing, but now with two observers to share the burden.
Okay.
Out of sight, a hand picked me up.
and as I kept breathing,
the fire kept spreading.
Soon, it swallowed my parents, sitting in their chairs, doubting my story.
I felt contradicting opinions
And ideas coexist, but not in conflict.
Different notes in harmonious chords,
Shaping a balanced,
Indivisible whole. More clouds spread into my vision.
And more sensations through my body.
the music was evolving. I looked at my hand fingers
against a surface felt no different than 5 bodies
or minds. Branches becoming aware that they were connected to the same trunk.
all along. Their experience my own.
All of them present in my mind.
The prickling kept spreading. Each needle on my skin, another presence in my mind.
More and more observers sharing the burden.
A vast number of sensations flowing.
My world, like musical sunlight, just passing through.
I think
Every individual going about their business.
the voices are coming directly from the trees. That's why I've had a hard time trying to find them.
The surroundings, and me. I knew and felt them all as I knew and felt myself.
And I could no longer feel contempt,
Or
or that anyone was somehow less deserving.
there was no longer me and you, no us versus them.
I guess if I find a tree I like, I should just sit there and listen to it.
Me.
Until it kicks me out. Gotcha.
As I kept breathing in,
This time I think I'll just try and find a tree I like and just listen to it.
Each new breath pushed me along a ubiquitous landscape that was simply
Too beautiful to ignore.
Oh,
What lay past each tree and beyond every hill,
this one sounds like the old man from the start.
I knew to be true. Mountains, transient shadows of matter flowing through time, slowly from one point of view, but for the mountain itself, oh boy, it's in a hurry, like everyone else. There's the whirlpool and the stream, an expression of energy floating through empty space. All experiences merging to one. There I was, all of us, you, me, I. The light that shines through the film. All else.
So is it a walking simulator if I don't walk? Okay, well that's another time up. I think that was the same old man voice as originally though. Some of the stories that make sense though, they all make sense in different ways, but like when someone the voice doesn't match the story too much.
As with all stories,
this one also ends.
Like when the child before.
The story has an ending, but because it keeps moving, leaving us behind.
my body kept living like yours will.
I also feel like there's definitely only a certain number of voices, which makes sense, obviously.
This scream. Our very own eyes. I couldn't tell if I
ascended or dissolved. I'm soaring to space.
But unable to move, nevertheless. And as I turn in orbit,
The boundary between light and dark keeps moving.
a cascading wave of thoughts, arriving at dawn, just to slip away at dusk.
Wait, it's already... Yep, it is. Okay. I feel like we've only got so many more flowers we can pick up before our hand's gonna be full. Okay.
A violent competition on a speck of dust suspended in nothing. An energy field fumbling in the dark, trying to describe myself. I want to be safe. Well fed, not too warm, not too cold. To be acknowledged by my closest.
Can't work out which tree is which voice.
You are another part of me looking back.
You will always be a stranger.
A lump of resources for my exploitation. The branches cut, our hemispheres separated once again. Rocks skipping along the surface, never sinking in. The inconsistent dash of beauty between the noise, picked up by a stranger with good intentions, and with it, sentenced to die. I don't care who you are, or how you found me, but we are both reaching in. A few lonely rays venturing through space in just the right direction. Absorbed in our leaves, stored as sweet sugars, and exhaled as crisp and clean oxygen. And while the light warms our skin, or while we wait for the next sunrise, we breathe in and out. All that matters is that you are here right now.
And for a moment, we are together. You and me. As one.
Are the trees coming towards me, or did it just lag out?
And always will be.
Okay. Am I going to be putting these on a grave or something? I'm guessing I'm putting these on a grave or something. I don't know, what the hell's going on over here? Like, the forest has been cut down, which is pretty sad, really. Has this been an environmentalist message this whole time? Oh. Oh, there's a lot of other flowers here too. Oh, I see. Do we you get the right message in general? I'm guessing when we put down these flowers, yeah, that one just says Minecraft, so I'm gonna guess these are definitely all put down by different people. There was like a tree over there. Well, dibs on putting it near the actual tree. Or not. Oops. I was gonna say. Okay. Mine is directly next to an actual tree. So, there's very much else around here. I wonder if these are just literally the number of people who played it. Like, if I keep going on this direction. Or they just randomly placed them. Okay. Well, that was certainly something. This is going to refresh, I think. I had the same thing happen before. So it's just gonna loop and loop. So I guess that's that. It's been Sunlight. I guess if you wanna make a message yourself and for trees, you know what to do. It's quite a beautiful game. Very unique experience. I think the fact someone said Minecraft shows it probably was real people, but it has been a few times when I've seen like a bunch of messages and be like, is this real? And turned out not to be real. I'm guessing this one is real, though it probably has to vet messages so people don't like put their contact details or their Discord codes in or something. Not that people should really want to talk to randoms, but oh well. Well, I think that does what it does, though. So I thank you for joining me. This has been my Mountain of Shame. This has been Sunlight. If you wish to play this game, I'll put the link down in the bottom where you'd expect it to be. And I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.